Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mae Cave. My name is Maegan, and today I'm going to do a book review of a middle grade trilogy, and that is the Princess Academy Trilogy by Shannon Hale. This book series, it is so much fun and endearing and sweet and full of great characters and friendships that I just have to recommend it to everyone. But let's get into the synopsis. So I will give you a synopsis of each book in the trilogy, because it's not, the stories are different enough that I can do that without giving away spoilers. So we'll start with the first book, which is just Princess Academy. It's about a girl named Miri who lives in the country of Danland on Mount Eskel, which is the 13th province of Danland. Now, what happens in this country is that every time the prince is is a few years off from becoming king, he has to choose a bride. So the priests of the god creator, they get together and they decide which of the 13 provinces the next bride will be from. And then they have a Princess Academy, which is typically only for a couple days, and it's a formality really before the big ball, and all the noble ladies get together and the prince chooses a bride. But this year, they actually chose Mount Eskel as the province, which is unprecedented, has never happened before. Mount Eskel is just quarry workers, which they quarry a stone called Linder, which is the only place that you can get Linder. And that's it. They're poor, they're peasants, and there's no noble ladies. No one would ever think that this is where the princess would come from. But it was chosen and they can't ignore that. So they decide to create an actual Princess Academy for the girls of marriageable age to go to for a few months before the ball, so that they're actually ready to become a princess, whoever the prince may choose. So in comes the girls of Mount Eskel. Mainly Miri is the main character, and then all of her other friends, and I think her sister. I don't remember what the marriageable age range was, but it was teenage, so maybe 14 to 20, something like that. And these girls, they're kind of scared, and they're wondering what's going to happen. What if one of us gets chosen as princess and we have to leave our homes forever and go to this place we've never been to? Because none of these girls have ever left their mountain before. But Miri is a strong character. She's really interested in learning more about the country and reading and writing and all these other things that could help her people. So they go to this Princess Academy, and then everything happens from there. There's friendships, and there's learning, and there's bandits, actually, and there's a little bit of adventure in this book. Overall, it's a fun read, and it's very all-encompassing of different pieces, so it's not just sweet, it's not just girly, it's not just this, that, or the other. It really is fun, and it's an unexpected person who was chosen as the princess, which I actually enjoyed that this person was chosen. Of course, I won't tell you who. And I want to talk about the cover, because I love this cover. It actually has Mount Eskel, the Princess Academy the girls go to, and the girls. Once you start reading the book, you realize that each girl in here depicts one of the girls in the story, and they're on the back as well. And I thought that was really sweet to add that kind of character to the cover. Unfortunately, the other two books must have come out later because they don't have this kind of cover, which kind of sucks. But it's okay. This one, the first, is definitely my favorite of the three in the trilogy. I think it could be read as a standalone, which I thought it was a standalone until I found the other two. And the other two are great for continuing the story, but if you're fine with how this one ended, then it's totally fine. You don't have to read the other two. But I highly recommend this for everyone of all ages. I think anyone can read this and find something in it that they enjoy. On to book 2, which is called Palace of Stone, and is not my favorite. It's my least favorite, actually, of the three. It's not that I didn't like it, but I don't know. The story could have been better. The cover's kind of ugly, honestly. I think the girl in the front looks very snobby and snooty and just all up there. But in this one, it is after one girl's chosen to be the princess, and she's already gone down to the kingdom, and some of the other girls and some of the boys decide that they want to visit her for her wedding, or I think they're invited. And so a handful of the kids from Mount Eskel go down to visit this girl about to get married, and they stay for a whole year, some of them going to the Queen's Castle for university, or in this case just school. They call it a university, but the girls are in high school age, and then some of the boys go off to learn different trades to bring back to their mountain and help boost their economy in the mountain. So these girls stay there for a year, and what happens is a revolution starts to go on, and one of the girls gets kind of swept up in it, and she ends up trying to help compromise instead of violent, which is, she doesn't want violence. And I think it was a sweet story. I like what happened at the end of the revolution, but it just wasn't the strongest story, and it wasn't my favorite. The third one is really good, and this one is just, it's okay. But I think it was good for the story, and it was good to get from the first book to the third book with this story. But I would still recommend reading it. Okay, the last book in the series is called The Forgotten Sisters, and this one was actually a lot of fun, and I do like the cover. This one has more detail and color, and you can see the swamp. So in this one, the girl from the second book, and the first one, of course, I'm not going to tell you who it is, because then you might know that she's not the princess. She, after being in the city for a year, she's about to go home to Mount Eskel, but then she is chosen to go to the swampland called Lesser Alva in the southern part of the country, and train some cousins like a princess academy and help them become better nobles so that one of them can be married off to the king of Stora, which is a country to the south of them that is threatening war. So she's going to the Swampland. She has no idea what it's like there. She's never been here before. She doesn't know who these girls are. And she has to help them and be their tutor, even though actually two of them are older than her. No, one of them is older than her. And she actually learns a lot of things being there. She has this interesting dynamic with the sisters. The swamp area is very interesting, and the people, and the whole plot itself. I really enjoyed this plot. It went places, and so overall this one was really interesting. I like how it explained who exactly the girls were in relation to the king, and why exactly Stora was going to declare war on Danland. And it was just a lot of fun. I think it was tied up nicely, you know, in like a sweet bow, which I don't always care for, but it's a middle reader's book, and it's kind of what you expect for all the little, for all the loose ends to be tied up nicely and not just kind of left there for people to die or, you know, whatever happens. But it's still a really enjoyable book. I do like what happens at the end. I like how things play out, and I actually wouldn't mind having a fourth book. I don't know exactly what would be. There wouldn't be much adventure. It would just be the lives of the girls on Mount Eskel. But you never know, there could be more. But so far it's a trilogy, and I think it's really enjoyable, and I like this as the ending book for the trilogy. So overall, I really enjoyed the whole trilogy. I would recommend this to anyone of all ages, of course starting with the first book. I would probably give the whole trilogy 4 out of 5 stars. The second book would get 3.5 stars, where the other two would get 4. So I guess that kind of evens out. But it's a really sweet, like I said, it's endearing. It has great friendships and great characters. I'm saying frerkers over here. And I highly recommend this. I think it's just such a good story, especially if you really like younger audience books, like middle grade books. This is definitely one to go to. Shannon Hale is actually a pretty popular author as far as I'm aware. She has some other ones. I know The Goose Girl, I think, is a popular series, but this is actually the only series by her that I've read. But I highly recommend them, and I do want to read more Shannon Hale. So let me know what you guys thought, if you guys have read these before, or if read anything else by Shannon Hale, or if you have any recommendations for me based off of these books. So just let me know what you want down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!